some key training points for the ABL90 Flex Plus, just to give you a better feeling about getting started with the analyzer. There's all kinds of help for the analyzer, from the training to the videos that are on board to the YouTube videos that we sent copies of for you to go through. And then, of course, when I come on site, then we'll follow up with hands-on and working with the analyzer. But I'm hoping today that when you come away from this, that you're going to be able to go to those analyzers and at least perform some basic tasks as we get going on it. And I think that's probably will help as much as anything. So just a quick overview of what we want to accomplish today. And what we're going to try and do is identify buttons to use on the analyzer, the status screen, recognizing our traffic light, which we use for everything on our ABL product line, performing and interpreting calibration and QC measurements, understanding the significance of quality control management, and performing QCs, master procedures for using and replacing various consumables, and following the guidelines of disposing biohazard, and to perform routine maintenance and troubleshooting procedures. And we've got instructions that we can follow. And again, there's not an awful lot to the analyzer. It has a lot of stuff that's built in that takes away some of that as well, that you'll find once you start to get working with it. So just to look at its compact technology, and this just gives you a quick look at the hardware. It has a separate sensor and solution cassettes. So there's no need to start up sensors when changing solutions, and it saves startup time. The inlet is separate from the cassette, and up to 1,200 tests in one sensor cassette. And we have a large solution pack as well. I think with your sites, probably you won't be using some of the larger cassettes, you use some of the smaller ones, but we do have a varied number of them there. So the analyzer is simple and modular. It has few moving parts. As you can see, there's one pump and there's about 3 motors and periodic service with minimal work. It's very portable, and it has a memory chip on all the consumables so they can be shared from one analyzer to the other. Software, we have optimized screens and simple menus, step-by-step on-screen user guides. It has 3 basic user interfaces for daisy user: the screen, the mixer, and the inlet. And the inlet LED indicator is green, means the analyzer is ready to go. Scan the sample, mix, and aspirate. This just gives, and don't think that this one's complicated. I always like to show this picture because it gives you a chance to look at basically what the wet section, whoops, get this up here, what the wet section looks like on the analyzer. And then this looks like where the cassette goes through. So you can see that the sampler comes through here, goes straight in through the cassette, over here to the oxy module, and comes down in here and goes down through and into the waste container at the bottom. Inside here, it has 3 different levels of discrete packaged quality control material, and they're stacked in that solution pack. And again, you'll see that a little bit later when we actually go through the solution pack itself. So features of the analyzer, physical features. It has a printer and a handle. The handle on top enables you to pick the analyzer up and carry it. Fully loaded, the analyzer actually weighs only about 19 pounds, so it is very portable. The size, and you've seen the analyzer now. I always say the size is about the size of a sheet of paper, which is really kind of nice. It's a really small, compact unit. It has a touch screen on board. It has a barcode reader in the front. It has a sample mixer, and this is when you're using our safe Pico mixers, syringes and aspirators, and I will be showing some of those as we go along. It has an automated inlet gasket. Nope, somebody's looking to come in. And the sensor cassette compartment is in the center, and of course your solution pack is down there at the bottom. And the battery indicator light shows at the bottom of the system. And that's only if you have batteries installed. I don't know whether you had batteries on your systems or not. Some people do and some people don't. On the back of the analyzer, this gives you an idea of where the USB ports on the back. There's a standby button on the back, ports for a mouse and an external keyboard, the network cable port, the other USB port, there's a COM port. So again, just to give you an idea of what all is back here, there's an off-on main power switch, and there's a latch release back here that I'll talk about on training, that if you ever can't get the solution pack out of the analyzer, it's just a quick and easy way to pop that out and get the solution pack out. But we go through that on training. Okay, So home screen configuration. So this is what your home screen is going to look like. And what you'll see is this is main menu. So the analyzer will always tell you in the top left-hand corner what it's doing, whether it's ready to operate it, whether it's analyzing, whether it's running quality control, or whether it's running calibration. So this will always tell you, it'll give you a bar, tell you how long it's going to take, when it's going to be finished getting done the procedure that it's performing. This little group up here of icons shows you on the bottom the solution pack and how many determinations are left, and the sensor cassette and how many tests are left. The analyzer status button is probably the most important button on the analyzer because that's going to give you access to almost everything you're going to do with this analyzer. The next one is your data logs, and so pushing the data log button will drop down a menu with to give you access to QC, patient information, calibration, and other test methodologies we've got in here to be able to access the information. You'll see that right now we have everything that's up in green, so that means the analyzer is totally ready to go. And down here we have our menu button to get into the analyzer and start. That's only used if we're doing certain functions. For the most part, you're just going to hit syringe, select your syringe type, and off you're going to go. So we've gone through ready mode. I always get ahead of myself. And if I missed anything, okay. All right. So then our next screen, now in here is the analyzer status. So you see, your button at the top is going to open up this menu. Again, it's going to show you what's left on your sensor cassette and your solution pack. Up here on the left-hand side, you'll see a bunch of other little buttons that are key to what's happening with the analyzer. So this will give you recommended actions, calibrations, access, quality control, consumables, any other services that we may perform, and any system messages. In here, this will tell you when these cassette or the solution pack are ready to expire, and it tells you both the tests and the determinations, and it also tells you the date that they need to be replaced. And same thing, it'll give you an indicator on the printer paper as well. Okay. All right, so then the analyzer status button, or our traffic light, if the light's green, there's no condition exists that requires attention. All operations are possible. Yellow means one of the messages indicate a condition that requires attention, but not immediate action. All operations, are possible. And one or more messages indicate that there's something that requires immediate attention. The traffic light red will be red, and the analyzer will stop. And at that point, you're going to have to stop and look and see what it's doing and what it wants at this point. So in this section, we're talking about going in again from analyzer status, looking at recommended actions. So if there was anything in the analyzer thought it needed you to do, you can push with that button. I generally say touch it at least once a day and push that button and see if there's anything in there. We'll talk a little bit about troubleshooting. And most of the troubleshooting, you'll either be prompted to replace the sensor cassette or replace the solution pack. So troubleshooting on here is actually very, very easy. Let's get down. So you can see we've gone through the selection. It's gone through what it needs to do, and it's telling us that what needs to happen is we need to replace the sensor cassette. Calibrations on the analyzer. So there are several calibrations on the ABL90. And the first calibration is the routine calibrations, which is the main analyzer calibration, and also the THB or total hemoglobin calibration. One is automatic, built into the system, and the second one, which is THB, actually has to be accessed and calibrated. So the main calibration, whoops, there we go. So again, calibration will give you an indicator of whether the calibration was good. If it has a check mark, it was successful. If it has an error, it will tell you that something was found in one or more of the calibration results that wasn't correct or wasn't happy with. If it shows you a little clock, it's letting you know the scheduled calibration is pending. The last calibration was completed successfully. And if it shows you a clock with a question mark beside it, a scheduled calibration is pending, and the last calibration was not completed successfully. At this point, you can click on the result button, and it will bring up the result of the calibration, and then you can look and see what happened. The second calibration Second calibration is the total hemoglobin calibration. And this is accomplished with an ampule, and we have an ampule adapter. And you actually have to run this into the analyzer. Now I'm going to push play, and I'm hoping that this video runs. Okay.
Just wanted to double check, Mark. Was there
Yeah.
audio with that video?
Oh, okay. I was wondering if there is, yes.
Okay, I did not play through. The captions were there though, so I just wanted to let you know.
Oh, okay. Is there any way to activate that, Matt?
I believe you'd have to stop sharing, and when you go back to share, there should be an option to also share the audio.
Okay.
Or to include sound, I believe is the exact wording.
Oops. All right, let me try that then. Where are we? Oh, come on. Okay. So has it stopped sharing?
You're still sharing at the moment.
There we go. Okay. Now, so when I hit sharing, oh, I see. That's what I missed. Okay. There we go. Let's try that.
And while that's while you're getting that ready, I see Christine has a question.
Do you want me to rerun that video? Sorry, go ahead.
Thanks, Kelly. So does Radiometer recommend running all levels of QC right after that hemoglobin calibration? or one level, or what happens after that?
No, usually what's happened is it just runs into the sequence of running quality control.
Oh,
So
just on the regular,
Yeah, so just on its regular basis, yes.
Okay.
Now, is this not moving? Okay. Oh, shoot. Now my slide deck is stuck. There we go. Okay, let's bring this one back up. Okay, so then getting into quality control, the analyzer manages two types of quality control. And one, of course, is the internal quality control, which is 3 levels, and these are in the top part of the screen, so A, B, and C. And then it also has the capability of having the external quality control as well. And they're handled just a little bit different than what the internal ones do. So all of this and the calibration is all automatic on the analyzer. So looking at the quality control for, come on, there we go. So looking at the quality control for the internal ones, again, same thing as we mentioned before. As long as there's a check mark beside it, it was completed successfully. If there's a question mark, it means there was an error was found in one or more of the QC results. So you may go in and look at that, and you can touch the screen. And you may go in and look at that, and what would happen is it just would open up, and it might show you something that failed on that particular QC. You can rerun that QC by simply selecting it and then hitting the Start QC button down here, and that will run the internal quality control. Now let's see if this video plays.
There are 3 dedicated levels of QC solution in the solution pack. There are 3 dedicated levels of QC solution in the solution pack. Levels A,
Yes, we can.
B, and C.
Thank you.
The ABL90 Flex Plus will measure one of these levels every 8 hours by default. You have the option to adjust the frequency of these built-in QCs. You can initiate a built-in quality control measurement with these steps. First, tap Analyzer Status, then Quality Control. Highlight the desired built-in QC solution, A, B, or C. Then press Start QC at the bottom of the screen. This will start the QC measurement. You will be unable to analyze other samples while the analyzer measures the QC. Once the QC measurement is complete, the results can be found by opening Data Log, Quality Control Log, and Results. When all parameters are within the control ranges and there are no other issues, the parameter bar will show all parameters in green, and the analyzer will go into Ready status. If the results of the QC measurement on one or more parameters are outside the control ranges, those parameters will be highlighted in yellow or red on the parameter bar, depending on your settings. You will see arrows next to the failed parameter on the displayed results. The built-in QC results will be stored in the quality control data logs.
Okay. I'll come back here.
Radiometer QualiCheck offers 4 different levels of quality control. Level 1 is red, Level 2 is yellow, Level 3 is blue, and Level 4 is green. Radiometer QualiCheck ampoules should generally be stored at room temperature alongside a thermometer. However, always follow the information provided in the package insert. The control range is the range within which a quality control result should fall. The control ranges were developed based on the QualiCheck ampoule being at 25 degrees Celsius, or 77 degrees Fahrenheit. If your thermometer shows a temperature other than 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degrees Fahrenheit, you will have to enter that temperature into the ABL90 Flex Plus when you measure the QualiCheck ampoule. This will help provide accurate quality control results based on the actual temperature of the quality control. Check to ensure that the analyzer is ready and that all parameters are green. This means that internal calibrations and quality controls have passed. To prepare for a QualiCheck ampoule measurement, remove the QualiCheck ampoule from the box. Place the QualiCheck ampoule between the thumb and first finger to avoid changing the ampoule's internal temperature, and shake the ampoule for 15 seconds. Hold the QualiCheck ampoule upright and flick the ampoule until there is no quality control liquid in the top of the ampoule and there are no air bubbles in the liquid. Using the QualiCheck opener adapter, crack off the top of the QualiCheck ampoule and immediately place the ampoule into the dedicated cradle. This will serve as the adapter between the ampoule and the analyzer's inlet. The adapter must be used in order to avoid damaging the analyzer's inlet gasket. To initiate measuring ampoule-based quality control, tap the syringe button on the main screen of the analyzer. Then choose the Ampoule QC button from the option of syringe panels. The exact workflow on the screen may depend on your analyzer settings. The analyzer's inlet will open. Place the quality control adapter that has the QualiCheck ampoule in it into the inlet. The analyzer will take 5 seconds to aspirate the quality control material from the QualiCheck ampoule. Remove the adapter, and if necessary, enter the temperature of the QualiCheck ampoule into the temperature field on the display. The ABL90 will automatically determine which level of QualiCheck quality control is being used. If more than one lot number for the same level of QualiCheck quality control is stored on the analyzer, you will have to choose the appropriate lot number from a drop-down menu that will appear on the screen. Once the QualiCheck measurement is complete, the results will be displayed on the analyzer. If all parameters are within the control ranges and there are no other issues, the parameter bar will show all parameters in green, and the analyzer will go into ready status. If one or more of the parameters violates the control ranges, those parameters will be highlighted in yellow or red on the parameter bar, depending on the analyzer settings. You will see arrows next to each failed parameter on the displayed quality control results. The external quality control results will be stored in the quality control data logs.
Okay. Any questions at that point? Or should I just continue on and do questions at the end?
Sorry, there was a question just that was put into the chat. Because we've been trying to run QC in Goddard and our settings weren't set up like that. It doesn't come onto the main screen when you press the Venus samples. So we've been having to run them out of the QC tab that you have on the screen right now, rather than, so we aren't able to actually select it on our main screen when we press Venus samples.
Oh, okay. So that sounds like that needs to get set up. I'll have to do that when I'm there.
Can you send us instructions on setting it up? Because we can set it up and then have it ready for when you come up to the
Okay.
site.
All right. And that's, you said Goddard?
Yeah, Goddard and Exeter aren't set up like that.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll just make a note and then I will get back to you.
Thanks.
Okay, so now we'll get into the consumables. And there are only 3 consumables that need to replace on the ABL90. And those are, of course, the solution pack, which contains the QC material, calibration material, rinse, solution, and the gas mixture. It's closed and it holds liquid and takes waste. The second part of it is the sensor cassette, and which our tests are done on. And the last part, of course, is the printer paper. Again, on the main screen, this is going to indicate through analyzer status when it needs to be replaced, how many activities are left before those need to get replaced. So you'd push the consumable button. It'll bring up a screen to show you where you're at. So you can see right now on this one, the solution pack is the one that needs to get replaced. So what's going to happen is we're going to go down here to the replace button. We'll select solution pack, and we'll go ahead and replace the solution pack on it. So these packs and sensor cassettes are good for 30 days on board the analyzer, or the number of tests that come up. So if you have more tests left at the end and the 30 days is up, they expire on the 30 days. So just to give you an idea of that. Now, let's see.
The solution pack should be stored at room temperature. When you take your solution pack out of the box, you want to make sure that you hold it from the top and then pull it out. Do not grab the tubing and pull on it, as you can damage the solution pack. To start the process of changing the solution pack, press Analyzer Status. And on the left-hand side, press the Consumables traffic light that will also be yellow. On the bottom left-hand side, press Replace. Select the solution pack. Then press the Start Video Guidance. The next screen is going to ask if your new solution pack has this icon with a dark square on it. Press Yes. The inlet will open automatically, and the video will show you how to remove the solution pack. It will take a few seconds for the pack to release before you can remove the pack. Dispose of the used solution pack in a biohazard waste bin. To activate the new solution pack, pull the red pin out of the solution pack. Place the solution pack on a sturdy surface where you have some leverage over the pack. Push down on the top as you hear a crunching noise, and both tabs click into place. That's the sound of the prongs that are on the underside of the solution pack's lid, puncturing the pouches that are inside of the solution pack. Make sure you have activated the pack completely. After you've completed that step, press Action Completed. Line up the solution pack exactly as shown on the video. Place your thumbs on the white top portion and push in. You're going to hear a click. Then it will take a few seconds for the inlet to close automatically. The analyzer will begin to start up. A solution pack removed from one analyzer can be used on another analyzer. To start the process of changing the sensor cassette, tap Analyzer Status. The Consumables traffic light on the left-hand side of the screen will be yellow. Tap the button next to the yellow traffic lights. On the bottom left-hand side, press Replace. Choose the sensor cassette. The screen will show Press to start video guidance. Remove the new sensor cassette from the refrigerator and take it directly to your analyzer. The analyzer will go through a conditioning process after the new sensor cassette is installed, so be sure to change your sensor cassette when you anticipate a slowdown of incoming patient samples. When you are ready to start the process, press Start for video guidance. On the next screen, you are asked if your sensor cassette has this black square icon. Click the Yes button to proceed. The sensor cassette compartment door will open automatically. Grab the sensor cassette and pull it straight out towards you. Dispose of the used sensor cassette in a biohazard waste bin. The next step is going to show you how to remove a new sensor cassette from its packaging. Peel off the piece of foil on top of the plastic container. Twist off the blue plastic cover, and your new sensor cassette will be inside. Remove the new sensor cassette from the container and tap the button Action Completed. The onboard video tutorial will show you how to insert the new sensor cassette into the analyzer. Because of the way that the sensor cassette is shaped, it is not possible to insert it backwards. There's only one way the shape will line up. Place the new sensor cassette into the analyzer with a gentle push. You will not hear a click, but simply push until the sensor cassette is secure. Press Action Completed, and the sensor cassette compartment door will close. Now the analyzer will enter into a startup. During the startup conditioning period, you will not be able to measure patient samples. A sensor cassette removed from one analyzer can be used on another analyzer. The ABL90 Flex Plus will recognize the number of remaining cycles and expiration date. If you install a sensor cassette that you have already used, the analyzer will let you know that the sensor cassette has been used before. You may click Accept. Click OK. There are two notifications of when to change the paper. The first is a red line printed on the paper when the paper roll is running low. The second notification is that the traffic light on the Analyzer Status button turns yellow. Press Analyzer Status, then Consumables next to the yellow light. The paper indicator will be close to empty and colored red. There will be a message on screen saying, "Printer out of paper." Press Replace on the bottom of the screen, then select Paper. An instructional video guide will appear on screen, showing you how to change the paper. Press the white Release button by the printer on the right top side of the analyzer from the front view. Open the cover and remove the used paper roll. Unroll a small portion of the new paper roll so that you can remove the sticky end piece holding the paper together. Position the roll so the paper unwinds from below. There is a picture inside the clamshell for reference. Drop the new roll into the paper cradle. Make sure some paper extends out of the printer. Close the cover by pushing with both thumbs as you press on both sides of the printer cover at the arrows. The cover must click into place. On the screen, press Replaced. On the next screen, enter any necessary data. Press OK.
Oops, back here. Okay, so then that's covered the replacement of the sensor cassette, the solution pack, and the printer paper. The next button down is called Other Activities, and this is where we get into cleaning the inlet probe and replacing the inlet gasket probe. And we'll go through that in training again. And again, you're going to go into Analyzer Status. You'll look at the bottom, you'll see Inlet Check, which brings up a menu. And you've got several different options there, depending on what it is we're going to do. So the first thing we're going to do is clean the inlet gasket.
The activity prompted by the clock icon shows Clean Inlet Gasket. Press Inlet Check at the bottom of the screen. Then choose the Clean Inlet Gasket button. A video guidance will appear on screen. Follow the instructions. You will need a lint-free cloth to perform the cleaning process. Dampen the cloth with tap water. Then press Action Completed. The analyzer will open the automatic inlet. View the probe first to make sure it is not bent. If bent, it would need replacement instead of cleaning. Now wipe the inlet gasket, which is the white plastic piece where samples are aspirated. Press Action Completed again. The inlet closes and the analyzer will rinse for about 2 minutes. Then go to Ready. Now we will replace the inlet gasket holder. Before starting this procedure, have a new inlet gasket available. If the activity prompted by the clock icon shows Inlet Gasket Holder, Press Inlet Check at the bottom of the screen, then choose the Replace Inlet Gasket Holder button. A video instruction will appear on screen. Press the Start Video Guidance button on the bottom right of the screen. Remove the inlet cover. Press Action Completed. The analyzer will open the inlet. Pull out the inlet gasket holder by grabbing the collar of the holder and pull towards you. It may take a little force to pull it off. Press the Action Completed button. Put the new inlet gasket holder over the slide and insert it. Make sure the inlet probe is centered in the gasket. Insert the inlet gasket holder until it clicks into place. Press Action Completed. The analyzer will close the inlet. Put on the inlet cover and press Action Completed. The analyzer will take about 2 minutes to rinse and go to Ready.
Okay, and then the next step, which I don't have a video on, but there is a video on the analyzer to walk you through the process, is replacing the inlet probe. So I've just put the slide in there which goes through the directions behind that. And again, as I said, we'll go through that on training. But again, it's going through the same method, and all we're doing is getting into the same area. We're taking off the inlet gasket, and then we're taking the probe, and you'll flip the probe up, turn to the right, and then you can pull the probe out. And then the new probe goes, we push the new probe back in, turn it back around, place it down, and as long as it's got some activity to move, then the probe has been replaced. And again, that's one of the things we do go through on training. So I'll have everybody have a chance to practice it when I'm out there working with you. Now, system messages, and this is the last area. This window will display messages about issues within the analyzer system, such as data problems, something that might require intervention from local service and support. Don't often see messages in there, but when we do, you also will have a troubleshooting button down here at the bottom that you can push once we get into it, and it's in gray right now. But it would be highlighted, and you can push that, and it will bring you up a menu to give you information on that. So troubleshooting on here, there's not an awful lot of troubleshooting that needs to be done. And again, we'll go through that, and I have a separate document for troubleshooting that I will send out to everybody. The first type is operator needed. So that's generally replacing a consumable. Troubleshooting needed. This may be flush the transport system. And the other one would be intervention required on-screen instructions didn't solve the issue or the problem. And at this point, you'll probably have to call radiometer support. So in the first slide, we're talking about troubleshooting the analyzer based on a status screen. So we're looking at what's come up here. The recommended action is replacing a sensor cassette. Looking at the second part of this in calibrations, we would take a look at the calibration, pull the calibration up, pick up the result here, and again, you can select the troubleshooting message. Same thing here, we can do the selected QC, tap the results, tap troubleshooting, and this will also give you determination on what needs to be done. And then the same thing with consumables. So again, everything is very straightforward, and it's performed very easily with the analyzer. I think you'll find that as you start getting to work with it. The next step on this is having to flush the analyzer. Now this only happens if the analyzer gets a clot that it can't remove on its own. So the analyzer will try, and it tries 2 times to flush the clot before it comes up and says, hey, I need some help here. And it will actually bring up a message that tells you what it needs to do.
You will need the ABL90 Flex Flush device and a paper tissue. Make sure you wear gloves during replacement and maintenance procedures. Prepare the flush device by filling it halfway with isotonic salt water, 0.9% NaCl, and the other half with air. Tap the Start Video Guidance button. Remove the inlet cover and press Action Completed. The inlet will open to the capillary position and the solution pack will unlock. Remove the solution pack and press Action Completed. Pull pull out the inlet gasket holder and press Action Completed. The inlet will return to the closed position. Place a paper tissue directly under the inlet and press Action Completed. Connect the tip of the flush device to the black waste connector on the inside of the solution pack compartment and press Action Completed. Now hold the flush device as shown to inject air and water into the analyzer. Alternate injecting air and water by inverting the syringe as you are pushing on the plunger. Repeat this until an unbroken stream of water comes out of the inlet probe. At that point, you may disconnect the flush device. Remove the paper tissue and press Action Completed. The inlet will open. Reinstall the inlet gasket until it clicks into place and press Action Completed. Reinstall the solution pack. The inlet will close. Put on the inlet cover and press Action Completed. Once the analyzer has confirmed that the obstruction has been removed, if you want the ABL90 Flex Plus to perform an automatic flush, for example, during troubleshooting or after a viscous sample such as cord blood or a high lipid sample, follow these steps. Tap Menu, Start Programs, Auxiliary Programs, Automatic Flush. The analyzer will then perform an automatic flush.
Okay, so then following that, this would be the next screen that would come up. And this is further intervention may be required. If the suggested actions don't work, following through on the step-by-step procedures here, then at some point you may have to gain contact radiometer support. But this goes through and it will walk you through everything it wants you to do. Now, the last thing to go through on this part as we're going through consumables is that if you find you have a consumable failure on the analyzer, so your solution pack stops working and needs to be replaced prematurely, or your cassette needs to be replaced prematurely, we will credit you back for that sensor cassette or solution pack, but there needs to be a form that gets filled out with that. So we can talk about how to change that again on training, but what happens is you'll just simply push the button down here. What it's going to do is bring up this credit form, and it brings it up on the printer, and all you have to do is print it off, and then that just gets sent into radiometer, and then they will automatically go ahead and handle that for you. Okay. All right, so last little bit in terms of troubleshooting. We talked about replacing the inlet gasket holder. So this one we've gone through the video.
press the Start Video Guidance button on the bottom right of the screen. Remove the inlet cover. Press Action Completed. The analyzer will open the inlet. Pull out the inlet gasket holder by grabbing the collar of the holder and pull towards you. It may take a little force to pull it off. Press the Action Completed button. Put the new inlet gasket holder over the slide and insert it. Make sure the inlet probe is centered in the gasket. Insert the inlet gasket holder until it clicks into place. Press Action Completed. The analyzer will close the inlet. Put on the inlet cover and press Action Completed. The analyzer will take about 2 minutes to rinse and go to Ready.
Now the nice thing about the video that you've seen here, if you look to the right with that screen where it says Replace Inlet Gasket Holder, you'll also see that there's a video tutorial on board the analyzer. So it will walk you through the steps of replacing that inlet gasket. It walks you through the steps for everything that you need to do on the analyzer. So this would be a level 1 in terms of troubleshooting. And again, at the end of it, it'll give you a check mark to let you know that everything was okay and the solution pack is back in place. Replacing the solution pack, we've gone through that in a previous slide. And to the right again, it shows you replacing the solution pack with another video on board. And again, just have to access through Start Video.
Then
So I'm not going to run that one again. Prepare the flush device. Again, same thing here. What'll happen on the screen, it will come up and tell you it needs operator intervention. So this would be a level 3. And at this point, again, it will walk you through what it needs you to do. So as long as you've got everything ready to go through it, then you can go through and flush the analyzer and clean it out. And then we get to the point if the guided troubleshooting did not work, it may be a point that you're going to have to call one of our service people. So just to have a quick look at some of the consumables, here's what your solution pack looks like. I know right now they're all sitting inside your analyzers, and unless you have extra ones on hand, you won't see what it looks like till it comes out of the box. But this is a solution pack. You can see that this area here is raised up. And what's going to happen is we're just going to pull out that red tab. And that's a plastic tab that prevents the pins from opening up the pouches inside. It's just protecting them. The memory chip is on top there. So this enables us to move this solution pack from one analyzer to the other. And the current analyzer detects if the internal foil strip conducts a current, if it occurs as the solution pack is leaked. Yep. Okay, so this is what the solution pack actually looks like inside. So inside here, we've got all the pouches stacked. Inside here is where the red tab comes out. And then when we push down, which you're pushing down here, what happens is that this bar locks across here and punctures all of the little packets that are inside there and opens them up for use. So the connection tubes. And the same thing with our sensor cassette. So that's the other consumable. So again, top part of the sensor cassette has reference solution. When it's in its little container, before you take it out and put it in the analyzer, this reference solution won't spill out. Once it's been activated, and what that activation does is when you put it on the analyzer, it opens up the little plug so the reference solution can flow easily out of it. So when you take the sensor cassette out, you want to make sure that you don't tip it or turn it upside down. Otherwise, you could leak some of that reference solution out. So you just pick it up and it shows you in that video that we went through how to pull that sensor cassette out. So the next part of it is the ABL is managed by an automatic quality management system. And what comprises that automatic management system for the analyzer is calibrations, system checks, quality control, and analysis check. So the calibrations, an automatic 2-point calibration, are scheduled according to each sensor need to ensure optimal sensor performance on the analyzer for uptime. System checks, and this is performed once a day, so every 24 hours this one gets done. We usually set that up so it happens in the middle of the night so that it doesn't fall into a point in time that it's going to cause problems in your workflow. Built-in quality control, we've talked about those. There are 3 dedicated quality control solutions that come out of the solution pack. One control runs every 8 hours. The frequency can be increased by the customer if you choose, and we can set that as well, so if you need to do some changes there. And then the analyzer set, sample measurement. So a 1-point calibration verification accesses sensor drift in the system pack each time you do a patient sample. Okay. So this just gives you an example of what it would look like in terms of a timetable for running all of those calibrators and quality controls, and it just checks off the timelines. And again, like I said, we can go in and make some adjustments to that if you feel you want to make any adjustments. And again, 2-point calibration and a 1-point calibration, and then of course your total hemoglobin. So the AQM system checks the analyzer at startup, the communication check is done, software checks are done, data management upon installation of new consumables. It checks everything on the sensor cassette integrity and the solution pack. Once a day it checks the pump calibration, clot, and leak check. It does a flow selector calibration, liquid sensor calibration, and leak current, and continuous set temperature check. And again, all of these things it does in the background automatically, so you won't see it doing them. Okay, so that's pretty much it that I had to give to cover today. I think we've gone through all the buttons, especially the analyzer status, performing and interpreting calibration in QC, understanding the significance of quality control, mastering procedures for using and replacing consumables, and performing routine maintenance of troubleshooting as may happen during the course of using the analyzer. So at this point, just wanted to see if there are any questions.
Hi, Mark. There was a question from Britt in the chat, which is how often should we be cleaning the inlet gasket?
Once a day.
All right, and it looks like
There we
Christine
go.
Cooper has a question, Mark.
Okay, go ahead. Now I can see them. Yeah, go ahead.
So we clean it daily, and how often would we actually be replacing the gasket?
Only if you, the only time you'd replace the gasket is if it got bent or broken, which shouldn't happen, or if it gets scratched. So if you looked at the gasket when it came out, it's that white strip, and the little black gasket is actually on the end of it. The reason we use the cracker for the QC material is so that that QC material is glass, and so that it doesn't go in and cut that little gasket. And so if that little gasket gets cut, then it doesn't pump properly. And so that's usually the only time you'd have to replace it, unless it gets really bad. So over the course of time, you will replace them occasionally. There's no defined time that they have to be replaced.
Okay,
Will be
thank you.
replaced on the PM, Christine, though.
Oh, they
every year.
replaced yearly?
Yeah, when we do the PM.
Oh,
Yep.
thanks, Joe.
Yep.
So who's next? Shauna, I think, was Shauna?
Yeah, the daily QC, like the internal QC that's done every 8 hours, does that use tests on your solution, the sensor cassettes?
Pardon me, you were breaking up there. Can you?
If we have 100, like a sensor cassette of 100, do
Yes.
those 8-hour internal QC use those tests?
No,
Don't. Okay.
no, it doesn't.
We're just on like a bubble that says here on about like for the 100 versus 300. So
Yeah, no,
They
it doesn't
use
take
it.
up the test at all. It comes right out of the solution pack and right in through. So when I showed you the picture of how the system actually worked, there's actually two positions for the inlet or the inlet probe, and so it's a different position for the QC that runs through it. So it actually doesn't take up a test from the test cartridge. Christine?
Is there access to like an operator's manual online directly from the instrument?
That was something I was wondering whether you'd been sent an operator's manual.
We
Yes.
did get a hard copy of one, yes.
And Christine, it's on Omni.
It's on, but there's nothing directly an operator would access from the instrument itself. Okay.
No, although it does if you're going into troubleshooting. If you go into that message part and the little troubleshooting button comes up that there could be something there, when you push the troubleshooting button, it will bring up what it thinks that logically needs to be fixed or troubleshooting. But it doesn't bring it up as a manual per se that you could search on the analyzer. Do you guys need a digital copy?
Oh, that's okay. We have a digital copy.
Oh, okay, good. Because I find that manual is invaluable. I think also once you start to get using the analyzers, I know you've done some at this point, but once you start to get using the analyzers and get more comfortable with them, you'll find that it's very intuitive to operate, and it gives you instructions for everything it wants you to do. And then the little video tutorials on it are great because they walk you through step by step everything it wants you to do. And it probably sounds like a lot, but it really maintains itself very well. So there's not a huge amount of troubleshooting. It's more replacing consumables and than anything else. Britt?